A warm welcome to all of you. Today we are going to discuss about one more new concept, list function in R programming. So what is a list? A list contains elements of different data types. A list can contain numbers, vectors, strings, and another list inside it. A list can also contain a matrix or a function as its elements. A list can be created using a list function. Now we will see how to create a list containing strings, numbers, vectors, matrix, and logical values. So how to create a list? So when we want to create a list creation itself, it starts with declaring a name. So the name of my list info, followed by a left assignment operator, followed by a list function. This list function includes various elements. The first three elements are the strings, and the fourth element, it is a vector, and the fifth element, it is a Boolean value, and the sixth and seventh elements are the decimal values. We call them as numeric values. So a list contains these different kinds of elements. So first three are string values, and followed by a vector and a Boolean value, and two different decimal values. So we call them as numeric values. So if I want to execute this particular list info, you just press Control plus Enter. Now I executed the created list. So I want to run a created list to see the output of this particular list info. So print list info, Control plus Enter. So you can see the inside of the list function. You can see the different types of different elements. The first three are the string elements, and followed by a C vector and one Boolean value and two different decimal values. We call them as numeric values. So that's how we can able to create a list function in R programming. Now, the second one, accessing the first element of the list. If you want to know what is the first element of the list, so print of list info followed by the position order, a first position in the list. So obviously it is red. So when I run this particular code, so you will get the output is red, because in the created list, the first element and its position is the red, and the second element, it is a green, and you can get the third element and its position also. So you need to give a position value here. So when you give print of list info in the parenthesis a position 3, you will get an output of obviously yellow. So likewise, we can assess the positions of the elements in the list. The positions of the elements in the list. And the next concept, give a names to the elements in the list. So we can give names to the elements in the list. So obviously this is a color, and color, and it is a vector, and it is a Boolean operator, and these two are the numeric values. So what I'm trying to do here, I would like to assign names to the vector elements. I would like to assign names to the vector elements. So for assigning names to the vector elements, so the code has to be written like this. So name and followed by the name of the vector, list underscore info, and followed by the left assignment operator and a vector. So inside you can give whatever the names that you want to give to our vector elements. So first one obviously red, and the second one it is a color green, and third one also it's a color yellow, and the fourth one it is a vector function, it is a vector, and the fourth one it is a Boolean operator, and the remaining two numbers are the numeric values. So we are assigning names to the vector elements. So execute it, control plus enter. Now I want to run a list underscore info, the name of my list. So you can see here the output. So I assigned. So what I tried to do here, I assigned a name to a particular element. So color red and green color and yellow color, and it is a vector. So a vector element, a vector function includes 20, 40, and 60. And the fifth one, it is a Boolean operator, a true. And the remaining two elements are the numeric values. So that's how we can able to give names to the vector elements. Now the next one, add element in some position of the list. So here, in fact, 7 positions are available. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So in 8th position, I would like to add one more element. So in 8th position, I would like to add one more element. So how I can able to execute this? So the name of the list underscore info, and in 8th position, I would like to add a complex number. I would like to add a complex number 3 plus 2i. Now just execute this particular code, execute this. So now I executed, I tried to add in the 8th position a complex number 3 plus 2i. Now explicitly I would like to print this 8th position, a print of list underscore info of 8th position. I would like to run this. So you can see here the output in 8th position. Explicitly we try to add 3 plus 2i, which is a complex number, right? So likewise, explicitly we can able to add one more element in the existing list. So in 8th position, now I added 3 plus 2i, which is a complex number, with the help of a left assignment operator into my list underscore info variable. So the next one, update the 4th element in the list. Update the 4th element in the list. So instead of 4th element, I would like to update with a Boolean operator, a false, right? Now list hyphen info, at the 4th position, I would like to update with a false, which is a Boolean operator. Now run this code. Now you can check the output. Now you can see here In the fourth position, instead of a C vector 20, 40, 60, it's being updated by a Boolean operator, a false. So instead of a vector function here, 20, 40, 60, it is being updated by a Boolean operator, false. FAL, false, right? Now its position has been changed. Its position has been changed. So that's how we can able to update the position also. So whenever you want to update the position, you need to understand, we need to identify very specifically the position of the element, the position of the element. Unless otherwise, if we fail to understand the exact position of the element, so we will get, obviously we will get a different result here, right? Now, remove the fourth element. So suppose, for example, what I want to do here is I want to remove the fourth element. So what is the code over here? The variable list underscore info, the fourth position, I want to make it as a null. I want to make it as a null. When I assign a null in the fourth position, then automatically the position 4 will be removed from the list. The position 4 will be removed from the list. So execute the code. So control plus enter when you press this. So the code will be executed. Now I want to check whether in my list the fourth position was eliminated or not. I want to check it. So just run the variable list underscore info. So you can see here, earlier my fourth position, it is a false. Now it was eliminated from the list. Instead of false, in the fourth position, a subsequent element, it has been taken place. The subsequent element is true. It has been placed into, it is being moved to a fourth place, and likewise. So even we can able to remove the elements from the list. So even I can update the elements in the list. So what is the procedure to update the elements in the list? So name of the list underscore info. In the third position, instead of what exactly the third position over here, hello, instead of hello, I would like to update it as a blue. So automatically the third position will be replaced by a blue. So execute this particular code. Now I want to check what exactly the third position, whether is it updated or not. So just execute the code. You can see in the third position, it was updated a blue. Earlier it was green, now it is updated to blue. So likewise, we can update the various positions and its related elements in list function. Now the next one, creating a list containing vector, matrix, and an inner list also. Creating a list containing vector, matrix, and an inner list also. So how to write up a code here? So the name of the list underscore info 1. So with the left assignment operator, I try to create one list. A list to contain a vector. A vector includes 4 different elements: January, February, March, and April. and followed by a matrix. A matrix include 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It has to be run in two different rows, and a list with two different operators. The first one, it is a character, and the second one, it is a numeric. So a list can include a vector, a matrix, and even an inner list also. So a list can include an inner list also. So run this particular code. Now just execute this list info1. So we can see here a matrix function also in 2 rows with 3 columns. It has been added in the list, and a list inside the list, a third element which is in sublist. A third element which is in a sublist has been executed. And in fact, we can merge 2 different lists also. We can merge 2 different lists also. Suppose here, if you see, I created a list 1 with left assignment operator. A list includes a numeric values 1, 2, 3. And list 2, I created list 2 also with left assignment operator. A list includes 3 strings, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. What I would like to do is, first I would like to execute separately. First I want to execute separately, and I want to merge 2 different lists. I want to merge 2 different lists. So what is the code that we need to write over here? Merge.list. I created merge.list, a variable with a left assignment operator with the help of a vector function C, and I'm trying to merge 2 different lists. So list 1 and list 2. So I want to execute this code. So I want to check it out whether these 2 lists are merged or not. So I can run the code here. I want to execute a variable name merge.list. So you can see here 2 different lists were merged. So 1, 2, 3, the numeric values, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, it is a string value, character value. Now we can convert even a list to a vector function. Even we can convert a list to a vector function. So I would like to create a list 3, a variable name a list 3, with a left assignment operator, a list function which includes a sequence of variables from 10 to 15. So obviously it will try to print 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And a list 4, a variable name list 4, with the list function, a sequence of values, a series of values 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So I want to create separately 2 different kinds of lists first of all. So I'm trying to execute this particular code, a list 3 variable. I want to print the list 3 variable. So you can see here 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, a series of variables from 10 to 15 in the list. So I want to execute a list 4 variable, so which includes a series of variables, a series of values from 16 to 20. So explicitly I would like to print a list 4 variable. So you can see in list 4 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now my important aspect over here, I'm trying to convert a list from a vector. List from a vector. So in the v1 variable, first of all, I would like to unlist it. I would like to unlist it whatever the elements are there in so converting a list to a vector. So I created a list tree here, which includes a series of values 10 to 50. I want to execute this. And I want to explicitly, I would like to print this. The same likewise, I want to create one more a list. The name of the list 4. So with left assignment operator in the list function, a series of values 16 to 20. I want to run this code. I want to print this list. So in V1 it is a vector. In this vector, I would like to include a list tree, so which automatically it will be converted into a vector. So the same likewise, I want to convert a list from vector. In the V2 vector, the first a list 4, I would like to unlist it. Later on, I would like to assign the output with the help of a left assignment operator into a V2 vector from this code. So print V1. Now we can see print V2. So the same like. Likewise, we can perform various operations with the help of list function in R programming.